here's the stat, by the way, that I wanted to hit that I think is indicative of this. And I'm reading from the New York Times, which I think actually has covered this very well. India, before the Ukraine invasion, 1% of its oil and gas came from Russia. India, after the invasion of Ukraine, now 33% of its oil and gas comes. And here's a good paragraph on this, Buck. Quietly, it says, this has pleased everybody because while they're barring Russian oil and gas in many countries, they are rerouting Russian crude. Europe then buys the oil and gas from India. So it's just India has become a middleman, makes a couple of dollar profit, and then it goes right back to Europe. So it's a shell game. Everybody's pretending, oh, we really did something. And really, India just makes a couple of bucks and is the middleman to then route the Russian oil back to Europe.
Think about that. It's even more cynical than what most of us would think is possible, I think, under these circumstances. Oil is a commodity, as I said, that all these countries need. And where the oil comes from at some level is fungible. It's a true global market. So someone's going to buy it. You're never going to have a situation where the Russians are like, hey, we got all this oil. Anyone want it? And everyone goes, no, we won't take oil at a dramatically reduced price point from the Russians because we care so much about who's in charge of Donetsk. That's just not the way the world works.
Zelensky arrives on wardrobe. What is he wearing? I'm not great. We all know it. Any kind of clothes. He does seem to be much better dressed. He's not in his olive green fatigue-looking thing. He's in I believe it's an all-black outfit, and it looks a little bit like it's not quite a suit, but it is much closer to a suit. What would you call this, producer Allie?
Nehru collar here? What do we mean? Like, what's not quite a suit?
Well, it's not a suit jacket, but it's like, what would you call this, Allie? I mean, it looks a little bit Euro to me. What would you call this?
No, that's he's not wearing a tie, which I'm not going to hit him on because I think ties are dumb. And except when Trump wears them.
The Buck Sexton outfit analysis here would be this is a grown man's outfit.
It's very Euro.
Yes,
you could say
that's what I was trying to say. Yeah,
he's very Euro-tastic with it. But no, I think this is respectful. It's a suit jacket and a button-down shirt. This is not, what you'd wear to the gym to get your, to wail on your pec muscles or something. I think this is fair.
I don't even feel comfortable because I have been every time I wear an outfit anywhere, I get criticized for being inappropriate. So I'm just going to start wearing full tuxedos to any event, be way overdressed for everything. But to me, it does look like he's better dressed to the extent that this is a serious thing.
Would be people are looking for something to attack Zelensky for. If he had showed up in a T-shirt and fatigue pants or something, I'd be saying, come on, show respect to the White House under the situation. It's one thing. It's almost like, if he's wearing a tie, but you don't like the color, well, he's wearing a tie, okay? You have to, we can't, we're not actually the fashion police here. It's just about respect for the White House, for Trump, and for the Ukrainian people, honestly, as their representative. And I think he's crossed that bar, even though if you or I wore what he is wearing anywhere, we would be mocked, but we get mocked for everything. By the way, Trump, for the tennis shoes that I wear, they're New Balance. I didn't know New Balance was so offensive to people.
As soon as he got out, I'm looking at the video right now. This has just been posted by Margot Martin 1 minute ago. Trump basically says, "You look great," and points to the jacket and the shirt. Yeah. So there we go. So they're officially underway.
He's well attired. He passes the attire test. All right, let's not get too crazy about this. And now we can focus on the business of what's going on here, which is figuring out. For me, Clay, the territorial concessions part, you can see a way through that. Here's a very imprecise analogy. One of the things that always destroyed any negotiations for Israel, Palestine, final sort of end state program was the right of return. So like Arafat would be like, well, yeah, but we also have to bring back all the And it's like, well, that's a deal killer. Okay, that's not happening. And so the right of return was just always something that they would use to avoid actually signing a deal. The security guarantee part of this is very tricky.
Yes.
I think that's trickier than the land part of this, because that's lines on a map. You can figure it out. You can come to a painful but reasonable end to it. What is a security guarantee without the U.S. saying we will militarily punish Russia if they continue the war after they say they've stopped it? That's the part of it I don't have a clear answer to yet, but that's why Trump's meeting with them, and that's what the discussion is going to be.
And that's why, Buck, I think the Korea example is there's still no peace in Korea. But when did that end? 1953-ish?
Hey, we have our troops are in Korea,
yes,
and we actually have some of them listening right now. I know I've seen on our maps. We get downloads in South Korea, not in North Korea, but in South Korea, we get downloads for this show. So, hey, thank you guys for your service, guys and gals over there.
But generationally, to your point, we have had people there, and I think that's going to be one of the questions. Do we have a base? Do we have rotating troops? How does that work out? Yeah.
And then is it a backdoor Article 5 situation in some way? If North Korea kills thousands of American soldiers in an initial salvo, opening up artillery and missile strikes on South Korea, we're at war with North Korea. There's no way around that, right? It's a tripwire. Are we going to set up something like that in Ukraine? That's a big if. All right, we'll get into this some more. Years ago, new legislation created the opportunity for you to build your retirement accounts with 401ks and IRAs. You know about that, but what about gold in your 401k or your IRA? You know it's possible, and it's easier than you'd think thanks to our friends at the Birch Gold Group. Look at the gold of the last few years. In fact, this is the last year, gold's grown about 40% in value. If you don't own gold yet as part of your long-term plan, it makes sense. Give it serious consideration. Look, oil always has value in the modern world. Gold has always had value, even in the ancient world. Okay, gold has value, friends. Birch Gold Group makes owning physical gold very easy, and they can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA with physical gold. Text my name, Buck, to 989898. Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. Text my name, Buck, to 989898 today, and Birch Gold will get you started.